Welcome to the House Arrest Show, hosted by 3-time Grammy nominee and 6-time Dove Award-winning artist and actor T-Bone. Today's guest is 2-time Dove Award nominee artist Beckah Shae. We also have the House Arrest mix by DJ P-Dog in the mix.
You're tuned into House Arrest with T-Bone.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your man DJ P-Dog in the mix, and you are tuned into another edition of the House Arrest Show. And today, we got Beckah Shae. We got some of her music. We're going to take y'all back a little bit. Who remembers this? Put your love glasses on.
I see you looking like you want to dance, and I'm watching wondering why you don't take a chance. Just go ahead, take his hand. What you scared of, man? What you scared of, man? You know you got it in you, now just let it out. Don't miss this moment, this is what it's all about. It's everywhere, look around. So many treasures to be found. So we
Let's go.
Keep truth seeking, listen to wisdom speaking. Catch us heart beating and bye. Keep truth seeking, listen to wisdom speaking. Catch us heart beating and see the world through God's eyes.
Let's go.
Put your love glasses on.
Put your love glasses on. Beckah Shae.
Club isn't the best place to find a lover, so to you is where I go. Me and my naked heart in your presence, get erect, drinking fast until you overflow. You come over and start up a conversation with just me, and I trust you cause you understand. Then you take my hand, you sweep me away in your peace, and then we start to dance. And I'm singing like, Lord, you know I love your love. Your love's amazing to choose somebody like me. Now I'm gonna follow your lead. If they think I'm crazy, I don't care. I'll say, hey, I can't say enough how you lay down your life so we could be free. So now I'm gonna follow your lead. Come on now, follow his lead.
Let's go. Let's go.
You are love and I worship you.
We got just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
You have my heart, show me the truth.
We got Beckah Shae in the building. Let's go.
Let your glory fill this room till everything smells just like you. Every day discovering something brand new.
Say it, say it, say it.
Holy, 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 holy. Elohim breathe in me. Holy, 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 holy. Elohim breathe through me.
Let's go.
Holy, holy, holy. Ruach Elohim breathe
Beckah
on
Shae.
me. Every day I'm making
Montel Jordan.
something new.
Shake heaven. Let's go.
Angels all around are crying, holy, holy, holy. Praising with a sound that gives him glory, glory, glory.
Let's go.
Are you ready now? Get ready now. Get ready, let's all shout it out. Start shouting now.
Beckah Shae, Montel Jordan, shake heaven.
Gonna shake heaven. Gonna shake heaven. Join in together.
Let's go.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Taking back the music. Taking back the music. Gonna shake heaven. Gonna shake heaven. Join in together. Join in together. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Taking back the music. I know the angels say.
You've got my attention. Your state of the art. And yeah, I just hate the thought of me without you.
Beckah Shae, ladies and gentlemen.
Affection. You've got all my heart. And you've made me sure what I'm hoping for is true. You're the truth. What are you doing, love? You've got affection. You've got all my heart. And you've made me sure
Just a few seconds away from Beckah Shae.
it's true.
Let's go.
Yo, your love is so contagious, it's so infectious, and this beat is so outrageous. So go ahead and pump your fist, throw your hands up in the sky. Elohim Adonai, Dios eterno, Padre bueno, great I am, El Shaddai. Ain't nobody with a name that's higher. Glorificado, gotta give him all the praise. He's the one that filled my heart's desires, and ever since I ain't been the same. Still got swaggin' and platinum chains, sky tops on in them skinny jeans.
Beckah Shae and T-Bone.
He's bad, Michael, Billy Jean.
Let's go.
I'm
We're just a few seconds away from Beckah Shae.
I'ma give it all, give you my all. Winter, spring, summer, I'm loving you, I believe it's fall. I'ma give it all, give you my
Let's go.
all. Ain't nobody stop it, I'll rock with you like a stone wall. All that I am is because of the love that you give, it's incredible. Long as I live, got me dedicated to you, Lord. So I give you my all.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is DJ P Dog in the mix, and right now we got my man, the host with the most, my man T-Bone Corleone, T-Boney Soprano. T-Bone, what's up, bro? Another house arrest show. Hey, guess what, folks? I'm gonna be back at the end with a house arrest after party. Got some new records for you guys. Come back at the end, but right now, taking it over with my man T-Bone, house arrest show. T-Bone, what's up, bro? What's up?
My man P-Dog, what's going on? Another round of applause for my man P-Dog. Gotta give it up. That was an incredible mix right there, yo. We want to tell you all to please stick around because right after the show, as he mentioned, we're going to be jumping into the after party with my man DJ P-Dog. He's going to be spinning some new records and some new music from our guest today, Beckah Shae. But before we get into the show, as always, we got to pay some bills. I got to let you know, as always, that today's show is in part to you brought by Sunny Family Dental. If you're in the Chino Hills or anywhere in Southern California area and you're looking for that perfect smile, they can assist you with any of your dental needs, including veneers, implants, crowns, cleanings, etc. They do it all. And trust me, they did my veneers and I get compliments on it all the time. Dr. Uday Shah is one of the best in the business, and he'll take his time making sure that you get exactly what you need. For more information, log on to their website at www.sunnyfamilydental.com. Again, that's www.sunnyfamilydental.com, and be sure to tell them T-Bone sent you. Now, also, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, look no further. United Realty NM can take care of all your real estate needs. They can help you nationwide with their network of realtors. For more information, log on to their website at www.unitedrealtynm.com. That NM is for New Mexico. Again, that's unitedrealtynm.com, or simply follow them on their Facebook or Instagram page at United Realty NM. We want to welcome everybody that's tuning in, watching, and listening all over the world via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your favorite platform is, as well as those of you watching via YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to follow us on all platforms by logging on to our website at www.thehousearrestshow.com. Again, that's thehousearrestshow.com. And I do want to remind you all that we are 100% listener supported. If you guys want to find out how you can help and contribute to spread the gospel through storytelling as we do here on the House Arrest Show, you can reach us at info@thehousearrestshow.com. Again, one more time, that's info@thehousearrestshow.com. Okay, now that we're done paying bills, guys, I'm super excited about today's guest because not only is she an amazing artist, an amazing singer, songwriter, but she is a very, very close friend of mine. So today's guest is none other than two-time Dove Award nominated singer-songwriter. She's worked with artists such as Toby Mac, Montel Jordan, Cannon, Eric Dawkins, and of course yours truly. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I want you all to put your hands together for the one, the only, the queen of gospel R&B. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my girl, Beckah Shae. Beckah, come on, girl.
Wow, what an intro. You're amazing. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and being with here on the House Arrest Show. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. Tell me, first of all, how you doing? I always ask everyone because I know we're living in crazy times. There's all this COVID stuff going on. I seen you've been making a lot of posts about all this stuff going on. How's everything in Nashville, Tennessee for you right now? And what's going on with you and your family?
Things are going good. We have actually had a little just kind of traumatic week, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had like this situation where we had a stalker for the past year just kind of harassing our family and decided to show up at our doorstep, last week from California.
So you had a stalker from California that literally came, they've been bothering you for a while, and they showed up on our doorstep of our house with my children and my husband. So it was a little wild. It's been a kind of a crazy week, not the average week for us. Yeah, I can definitely imagine. Now, what are you doing in a case like that where you got a stalker? Now, was this a male, a female?
Yeah, it's a female, and really You know, I believe just like everything else that's going on right now, that's just crazy because there's just so much craziness,
Right.
you know, with everything that's going on in the world and just everything. I think spiritually, so I'm always thinking, you know, this is just a spiritual war,
Right.
and this person is not evil, but there is demons involved. It's totally demonic.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me in the natural that just wants to be like, get the heck off my porch, leave my husband alone, step away from my family. Like the
Right.
whole, you know, that part of me is like, where's my gun? Like, no, oh no, she didn't come up on my porch, like the whole thing. But then the other part of me is like looking at the whole situation, and I'm just looking from afar. Like she literally, I mean, the cops were at our house, like she got
Wow.
arrested. It was wild. It was so wild. And there was a part of me that just kind of watched, and I had the love of God in my heart, like a compassion for this
Okay.
person who has been harassing and literally threatening my husband's life. It's really, she's after my husband,
Wow.
making just really, really terrible accusations towards him. Like he's, you know, abusing me and our children and all these crazy, crazy things. So, you know, for me, it doesn't make sense in the natural for me to look at her and think I have compassion for her.
Right.
That's completely and totally the love, and that's like the spirit of God in me, knowing
Right.
that she's being tormented by something. She's got something that's
Right.
tormenting her. And so it's just been this war, and it's so crazy how it like showed up on my doorstep, because I feel like this is almost like this tangible situation of like everything else that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we want to be mad, we want to be frustrated, we want to be angry about the different things, you know, but when we step back and we recognize and we look at it from a higher perspective, we can really, I think we can take more authority and
Yeah.
deal with the situation.
That's interesting what you're saying, because it's like you're saying in the flesh, like the flesh part of you is like, yo, man, where's my strap? This girl's over.
Yes.
I'm mama bear right now. I got to protect my husband and my family. You know, it's tough because a lot of people see this is why I love doing the show, because we get to look kind of behind the veil. We look beyond what everybody else gets to see. People don't hear about this stuff that's going on. A lot of times people see an artist's life, and it's like I tell people, you see me on magazines, you see me in movies, you see me on stage. Every time they see us, it's like we're happy, everything's good. We're showing the good side, but people don't see the hard things that we go through. They don't see things like this that happen. Is this the first time that something like this has happened to this extent? Or is it something that is kind of you've dealt with throughout your career?
No, I mean, I've dealt with it, you know, for the whole year, it's been over social media.
Right.
And I've dealt with several other kind of crazy things that came at us. But this one, most of the time we shut it down, block it, and it goes away and it rests. This one was like a consistent, like it rests for a little bit, comes back up, rests for a little bit, comes back up. And then this was the most wild, like.
You know, that's interesting, because I've had to deal with stuff like that too. And really what's crazy is just 2 weeks ago, and my DJ P-Dog remembers, we just shot a show. I was in Iowa doing a couple shows, and there was a girl from California that's calling and kept saying, hey, I know who you are. We were friends back in the day. You need to talk to me, this, that, the other. So I'm posting that. I'm at my sister's new coffee shop. I don't know if you've seen, I was out in Iowa at the coffee shop, and this girl ends up tracking down the phone number to my sister's coffee shop and calls the coffee shop and is like, is T-Bone there? I need to talk to him. And they're like, whoa. And she's like, yeah, I know his wife. I know. And she's like, oh, well, his wife is right here. So, you know, they put her, and she's like, I don't know who you are. You know, so it's crazy. Yeah. So she was kind of shocked, not knowing that was going to happen. But I mean, something that's crazy. People don't realize, man, it's beautiful to have a fan base. It's beautiful to be admired, to have people that love you. But once in a while, you get people that are a little bit crazy. And like you're saying, I think it's a great perspective that you take on and saying, well, let me not just get in the flesh and just hate on this person or just, you know, be upset, but let me look at them from a standpoint of, man, they're hurting. There's obviously something that there's missing, and they're looking for something. So like you said, you're also looking at it with compassion and trying to see, you know, what can I do? What can I pray?
What's wrong with that person?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's so wild. It's so totally like full of lies and so left field that, you know, there's a mental illness, you know, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say there was something. It was very frustrating because they began to reach out to all like my artist friends. I don't know if they even like tagged you at some point because they like tagged everybody that I know, like every artist friend. To at some point I had Nicole Simole call me like, "Are you okay? Like I'm getting these emails," and I was like, "What?" And so and then it just got to a crazy extent, like. Really obviously like, threatening my husband who's like, is my favorite person on the planet. Like I love him so much. I love him. And then tagging like my girls and their school and, doing like, calling out like their car and saying they're going to watch it burn. And all these crazy things like that was just so much that it was like, there is some mental illness. Like, I don't even know this person. I don't know where they came from. And you have to think that's demonic, It's just like so crazy left field.
Yeah, I want to ask you about this because it's crazy that I wasn't even planning on talking about this till you dropped this bomb on us.
Sorry.
Because this is real. This is what we like the show to be, real life issues.
Yeah.
And one of I wonder about, Beckah, I'm a dinosaur. I'm from the old school. So for me, I tell people all the time, man, when Facebook first came out, Instagram, I'm like 5-6 years behind because I wanted nothing to do with it. I'm from the era where like, I don't want in my business. I don't want nobody knowing I'm the opposite. Yeah. So
we're trying to put it all out there. So it's like,
exactly.
We're giving it to them to know.
Because you and your family, you're a family that you guys do a lot of videos. You guys have had a lot of stuff that's viral. You're shooting stuff in the car. You're announcing whether you're having a boy or a girl, all these different things. Yeah. Is stuff like, is it tough because you are letting so many people into your personal life that at times you feel you don't have no privacy and you feel like everybody knows what you're doing? I'm gonna be totally honest. I've never felt a threat ever except until this situation. Yeah. This past week has really shooken us and made us a lot more aware of what we're doing. I think, there's this point where you're getting me raw. Like right now is like the most raw moment for me because I'm processing and I'm seeking the Lord. I'm learning. I'm walking through this right now, like as I'm talking to you this week. But what I feel like is, we have an option, as in every decision, every corner that we turn in life, like where we can go, like we can either have fear or we can have faith, like we can choose which one. And for me, I feel like, walking by faith is knowing that God is with us. He's for us. He's in us. He's got us protected. Like, I'll tell you, you want me to tell you cool, this is awesome because this is how awesome God is that, my neighbor like called me and said there was somebody that was getting out of a yellow cab early this morning. I was just wondering who that was. They were going to your house. I immediately was alarmed by that because they asked the person for my husband's name. And I was like, we don't know anybody will come up and roll up in our neighborhood in a yellow cab asking for my husband. They would know where we live. So I immediately called the police and let them know of our situation. And the police came, we filed a report. As soon as they left, I just looked at my husband. I was like, we just knew, like, we were like, we need to go get some cameras. Like, we need to have this security. He went immediately to get these cameras. And 45 minutes later, she showed up. Wow.
And that camera got the whole entire interaction filmed so we could have like proof and we could have like all this, here. And so anyway, I just believe like God is always a step ahead. Always. Yes. He's always a step ahead. He goes before us and he fights our battles before us. And like, I am convinced. And there was just this crazy, thing that took place with, that was on our front porch. But I actually wasn't there for that 1 second when she showed up because I was like, wow. I'm gonna get a coffee. And I was thinking, I'm going to roll around the neighborhood and go look for this girl because I'm a hunter and I found what I want. And I was like, this whole thing. And I was gone when she showed up. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? So they get this thing on film. And that night was kind of crazy, like rough. We were just like thinking about everything. But I saw a vision of this huge archangel on our porch. And there was a point where she just like decided she needed to leave. Like my husband's like super calm and he has the authority and he just talks in peace. He's like, you're not supposed to be here on my porch. Like he talks like this, like that would not be me if I was up on the porch. Cause I'd be like, oh girl, and he's just like, I know that's why God had me not there. Yeah. But anyway, so she decided she had to leave. And I saw a vision that there was this huge archangel on the front porch who escorted her off. Wow. And I told my husband, I was like, man, and then God showed me that, you know, like the corner of our house, like every corner of our house, we have posts, like he is on point, like he is
Yeah.
on guard everywhere we go, everywhere we are, like he's watching over us, he's protecting us, and he's always one step ahead, and he's always giving us the information, and it's up to us to trust in him and to have the mindset to think higher, you know.
Right.
'Cause at some point, you know, I was so upset, but I was thinking, you know, did this person come because she needs deliverance? Like, did she come all the way here so that she could get set free of his demons, you know? And I'm sitting there like, but I ain't trying to do that right now. I want to be like mad, and I want to have my family protected, and
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this anymore. But you know,
Yeah.
it's same thing in life. It's like there's these people that are just so ignorant, and they're doing all these crazy things, and yet we want to just be mad at them. But God's like, but I need you to be to have my mind to rise
Right.
up higher, to sit with me and see it in a different perspective, so that you can be the person who sets them, like, how
Right.
I could, you know, set them free.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has to be in us and through us, and it's like now's the time more than ever. Now's
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, and that's such a teaching moment, because even in the Bible, there was so many times where people were seeing crazy people and they were expecting Jesus to react a certain way, but he reacted completely the opposite of what they would have thought, and he was teaching through that. But it's like right now, through this whole thing, talking about fear, talking about faith, you know, there's a lot of people right now, we're dealing with this COVID-19, we're dealing with so many racial issues, there's riots, there's different things that are going on all over the world. It's a crazy 2020. It's been a crazy 2020. What do you say to people? Because I talk to so many people that are like, man, I watch the news and I'm freaked out sometimes, so I don't watch the news. Other people are like, I don't watch the news because it just brings fear. What would you say to people that right now are walking in fear? Because there's a lot of people that are scared. What is a word that you would give to someone that is walking in fear? You could have walked in fear with everything going on, but I'm interested to see what your perspective is and what you say to people that are in fear.
The very first thing that came to my mind, and I'm praying that I have the right reference, I think it's Psalms 23:7. It says, he will keep in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. And that's it. Our peace, like, comes from him and him alone. Like, he is our peace. He's the Prince of Peace. And so in order for us, like, to deal with the things that we don't understand, we have to forsake our understanding. Like, we have to have his peace in order to, like, move and navigate through the things, and that requires trust, you know, to trust and obey, and just to, that's what faith is, you know, being sure of what you hope for and the things certain of the things you can't see. So I don't know, the first scripture that came to me was like, keep your mind, you know, on him. And and part of that for me is like, you know, I always hear the Lord saying, come up higher, come up higher. Like, that's what he speaks to me all the time. Because we can get so like this way, and we need to go this way so we can like see like a bigger perspective and a bigger story and a bigger picture. And it's only when you're up high with him that you can like really see. Like, my mom used to say, like, if you're going this way, the wall looks so big, but when you come up high on top of the wall, it's just like a little line, you know. It's like, it's not that intimidating. So I think the way that we overcome that intimidation, that fear, that confusion, that misunderstanding is to really sit with him and see it the way he sees it, and to deal with it the way that, you know, he would intend for us to do, and that's spiritually, because everything is spiritual.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's so good what you're saying. I had some other question I was going to ask you that had to pertain with this stuff, but it's all good because, you know, I want to get into what we talk about here on House Arrest. Is we talk a lot about people's stories. And I think that one of the things with you is you're talking about compassion. And I think you have to, you know, it's like they say, he who's been forgiveth of much loveth much, you know, and you've been forgiven of a lot of people may not know your story. You look like this young lady that's got it all well together. Looks like you've been a Christian all your life. You're a nice family, but people don't know your roots. You live in Nashville, Tennessee, but you're a Cali girl. You came from actually right in the area where I live. And you were raised out here. I know you lived in Las Vegas for a while. Can you share with us your story? First of all, growing up as a child, we always like to know what the childhood was like, because I always say whatever you go through as your childhood, that kind of like affects, you know, when you grow up. And then I know you lived in Vegas for a while and you went through kind of some crazy years. You were a cholita and all this stuff. Take me through your whole story for those people that may not ever have heard your story. Take me through, first of all, what your childhood was like. What was it like growing up in the Beckah family, Beckah Shae home?
Yeah, so my mom was a single mom. She was going through some broken marriages all during, my adolescence growing up. So it was very, the one word, if I had to just pick one word for it, it would be unstable. Because I cannot remember where I lived when I was younger because we had moved so many times. So I remember staying, with aunts and uncles, all different kinds of friends' houses, people from church. We stayed in different apartments and hotels and battered women's shelters, like several different battered women's shelters, and just lots of different places, constantly moving. So I always had like a bag of stuff.
Right.
It was unstable. So it was like, you never know what's going to happen. But now in life, it has been the most amazing tool that I've picked up to be able to adjust and just kind of go anywhere. And I'm super comfortable. I'm really easy adjusting. Like I've traveled all over the world now and all these different countries, and I can just hop on a plane and show up and like totally adjust. And I find it to be like, nothing. And so like when my husband will travel with me, he'll get like sometimes a little travel anxiety, and I'm like, what is wrong? Like, it's so, and I realize, that was probably something I picked up because I'm just easy to go, like wherever we are, we're there, but for the God story part of that, I would say, my mom came from a real Jewish family, in religion. And
so,
yeah.
You're in what? What's your nationality? What's your nationality? You're Jewish, and what else?
I'm Moroccan, and I actually found out that I have a whole lot of like Irish and British, which is brand spanking new. Like I just found that out, which that has to be from my dad's side. So that's interesting. But anyway, so when I grew up, I really never met my father's side of the family, like never spent any time with them. So it was my mom's side, which was Jewish. So I was exposed to a lot of the different traditions, all that stuff. And but here's the thing, my mom is 1 out of 6, and she got saved before I was born. Praise the Lord. That actually is what was so important for my development, because she just had such a hard time. Like she went through so many difficult things, and when she would just be rock bottom, I would be able to see her just on her knees crying out to God and asking for forgiveness, or asking for provision, or asking for protection, or asking for help. And I'm watching my mom in her brokenness, and then I'm watching God totally show up. And for me, it wasn't like a church situation. It was like a real deal. Like, oh my gosh, my mom just prayed that, he would provide some kind of food for our family, like, because we didn't have any money. And then there would be like a brown paper bag of groceries that would show up on the doorstep. So I could see, like, I could just see him showing up and helping. I could see my mom crying out to protect me. And it's an absolute total miracle around the drug dealers and the different neighborhoods that we were around, like just different things that were just around us, that I was never abused. I was never hurt. I was protected by God. So it was, I would say the first part of my life is, I call it the mercy. Like that's God's mercy season. Like that was the mercy part of my journey.
Yeah.
So I just saw him. He was my bestie. He was like what I experienced when I was younger as a real person, not necessarily through church, because obviously we were moving all the time. So I never was like plugged into a church, but I actually had this relationship with God where I would pray and talk to him and trust him and sing. And I started writing songs when I was 8 years old, and they were to Jesus. So, and that couldn't have come from, anywhere else, because my family was trying to convert me to Judaism. So it was this special encounter that I had where I saw that he was real and he was there for me. And so that was a real thing for me. The problem with that was that I didn't have the foundational teaching and the mentorship and the leader, like any kind of help to walk me through to help me grow, because my mom was like healing. She was still broken. She's still trying to do things on her own. And here I am. I have this relationship with God, and thank God, he's my friend and he's helping me. He protected me. But yet, when I entered into like my teens, I was completely like, vulnerable, because I really didn't have that covering, and I didn't have, the knowledge that I needed to really fight the war that comes, when you're at that age. So when that happened, that's when the enemy swooped in. He was like, ooh, weak spot, let me get her. And I just dealt with all kinds of confusion. I was trying to fit in. But I would say, if I was to look back at that middle part, I would call it, I mean, obviously this is my grace story. My grace story is about me and knowing my self-worth, which is one of the things that's my passionate like ministry. That's my passionate message to especially girls, because I'm a girl, it's just easier, but to anyone who doesn't understand how valuable they are, how important they are, how precious they are to God, like, because it's identity. It's an identity theft. That's like where the enemy works. Like, he's like, if I could just lie to them and get them to believe this lie and this lie and this lie, then it just completely derails them from their purpose, derails them from their destiny. It's like done. That's it. Like, it's like when you make one wrong turn and you're watching your GPS and you make that one wrong turn. It's like, it's just, it derails you from your route and you're like hours off. So for me, I believed these lies that I was the girl at the battered women's shelters getting clothes out of the black plastic bags, getting checked for ringworm and lice. And, I was this girl. And then I ended up in Orange County, in high school. And I was like, and all these beautiful girls. And here I was like, I'm coming from nothing. We lived in the mobile home park. And I was just thinking, I'm just not good enough. And the enemy just began to lie and say, you're not pretty enough. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. Look where you came from. Look at this. Look at what, and just stripped every ounce of worth, and me trying so hard to like fit into this worth that would be like validated by the world, which never works. Right. We know that. So I just hated myself, honestly. And because when you don't like yourself, you just end up compromising and just being less than who you're ever supposed to be. So I'll be honest, like, the thing is, I knew God. That was the problem. Like, I knew God. So he was already there. I had established a relationship with him, and I did this prodigal, the prodigal son, like the prodigal daughter story. Yeah. And I came from him, and I started to try to do things on my own and try to make up for what, try to control the situation, try to control how I could be more worthy. And it just wasn't working. I got to the point where I was completely and utterly just, I didn't want to live. I didn't want to live.
Bottom.
Yeah, I was so bottom. Like, I done things that I never thought I would do, but it was more of just the self-hatred. I had so much self-hatred, so much, T-Bone, it was so bad. My hair, like, I always had my hair in front of my face because I didn't want people to look at my face. Like, I felt like bad that you would have to look at me, because I felt like I was disgusting. Like, I thought I was just, like, I just didn't like myself. And I thought, well, how in the world could you like me if I don't like me? You know what I mean? And so it was just so bad. And I remember I was in my room and I fell to the ground, and I at that time was getting really bad anxiety. And the way that the anxiety would manifest for me was I couldn't breathe, which is funny right now, right? That's why I'm kind of warrior woman right now over this whole I can't breathe stuff. Because I was like, oh, heck no, I know you. So I was like, I would get to the point where I just started to get overwhelmed, and I couldn't catch just one whole deep breath. I could never do it. And I was down, I remember I was down on my knees, I was on the floor, and I wanted to die. And I was thinking of all the ways that I could make that happen. And I couldn't breathe, and I was hurting. I was literally like in physical pain, because I was like, I can't live another day. Like, it's like, there's no way out of this hole. Like, it's so dark and it seems so hopeless. I don't want to go outside of this room, and I don't want to talk to people. I don't want people to see me. I hate myself. I can't breathe. And I'm crying, and I'm just like trying to catch my breath. And in that moment, honestly, like, it was like, so I'm just totally being real on this show, like, so real, like, because this is, there's no other way to be.
That's what we
yeah. So I was on the floor and I felt like vomit. That's the
Wow.
only way I could describe it. Like what's grosser than, I don't know. Like there's probably some gross things, but like that was what I felt like. I felt disgusting, like on the floor, and I felt like vomit. And all of a sudden I'm crying and I can't breathe, and I hear this whisper, and it said, "Remember me, remember me." And I just knew that voice. I knew it, and it was like comfort, and it was peace, and it said, "Remember me." And right after I heard that, and if I start crying because it's just so real, every time I tell it, it's real. I just cried out, "Jesus!" And I just screamed, "Jesus!" And then it was like he came and swooped over me like a blanket and covered, like if I was naked and just disgusting. I was like, gross. And he just covered me, and I could breathe.
Wow.
And I just took breath finally. And that's hope. Hope lets you breathe. You can't breathe without hope. Whoever is out there saying, "I can't breathe," whatever it means to anybody, it's because they need hope. That's all it is. They need Jesus. So I cried out, and he gave me my breath back. And then I was there, and I just wept and I wept because I could feel his presence. And I just remember thinking, how did I forget about you? Like, how did I not, I'm so sorry. Like, I just was repenting, like just crying out, "I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I needed you. Like, this is, and I could just feel the peace. And it was just, I felt safe, like I was covered. Then after a few moments, right? Then I had to start thinking like, well, I can't stay under here forever. So, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And I remember I was like, well, real life is still there. Like I still am going to have to get up, and I'm going to have to face the day, and I'm going to have to face people, and I'm going to have to do things. And I don't understand how in the world I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to get to do this. And I had this vision of like the feet of Jesus. And I remember I just kind of was on the floor, just crying and weeping. And I remember I put my arms around like this. And I felt as if I was like wrapping my arms around his feet. And I was like, I just want to be like right here. Like, don't ever leave me. Like, I just want to stay with you. Like, like a little kid's like doesn't want their mom or dad to leave, like I was just like, please don't leave. Like, please don't leave. I just want to be like close to you. And then I remember I was like looking at his feet, and I was like, if I could just be the dirt under your toenail, like, just like, let me be the little piece of dirt stuck really deep. And then that way I could just be stuck to you, or I'll be a corn on your toe or something, just like, don't ever leave me. Like, I never want to leave this place. I'm not going to be able to make it without you. That was like pivotal for me because for me, it was like, it glued my soul to him. Like, it was like, I realized in that moment that he was my lifeline. Like, there's no other way. There is no day that I can make it without him.
Yeah.
And so that was my grace season.
Yeah.
And that led me to make, big faith moves. I moved to Nashville with like everything packed in my car, not knowing a single person.
Wow.
Just on a mission to like find Jesus. Like, I was just like, I want Jesus, and this is all I want. I want to get away from this life. And when I came here, I didn't know anybody. And, slowly he started to put me in the right circles. And that was where, I got planted in the church where, my pastor, who's been my pastor for like 17 years now and has married me and my husband. And I got my foundation that I needed so desperately. I got my knowledge, and I got, equipped in the word so that I could fight, and so that I could really, really know who I am. But it wasn't until Nashville that I had like full visions of how God sees me. And that's what really changed, that's what really transformed who I am today.
That's so powerful because, man, what you're talking about, Beckah, you're the first female we've had on the show. And honestly, I mean, I know you're talking to so many young girls because there's so many girls that struggle with identity, so many girls that see these pretty girls on these magazine covers. They don't realize they're all airbrushed and they're trying to look like them. They're trying to fit in. They want to be the pretty girl. They want to be accepted. There's a lot of girls with daddy issues. Like we were saying, they don't know the love of a father, so they're trying to find it in so many different things. What would you say to those girls that are watching right now that maybe are right now watching and they're like, man, that's me. I'm the same girl. I'm that girl. I'm the girl that's her that feels like vomit, that feels hopeless, that I don't feel pretty. I don't feel like I'm worth anything. What would you say to them that are watching right now?
All right. First, can I tell you another story?
Yeah.
This story might help. So when I got to Nashville, I'm like telling all my stuff now. I'm telling
Good.
all
Because
I'm talking to you, like you're like my brother, and I feel so comfortable.
Thank you.
I'll look back and be like, that was too much.
Good. I tell people, this is when people can really minister to someone. If we're not real, then it's like this is the real stuff that real people deal with. So I know you're speaking to them.
Okay. So I feel like this story is really powerful and it's important because I feel like this is something the enemy can totally try to like, I don't know, mess with people. But when I came to Nashville, I got involved in this church and I was so excited because my heart was so zealous. Like I wanted nothing but Jesus. That's why I moved all the way by myself, like just with faith, not even knowing, just trusting God, like whatever he was going to do. And so I was willing to do anything. So when I found this really cool church, I thought, this is so awesome. Like, this is going to be where I'm going to like grow up. And so I did everything, but they had a very thorough, to this day, I still don't know any church that it like does all this. It was like this very thorough membership process. So it was basically like you go through this whole workbook. You do like weeks of discipleship. Like you have somebody in the church that has to like do this discipleship with you every week for so many weeks. I don't even remember now, like all the details, but then you go to these classes. On top of that, you go to these classes. And then after that, you set up this interview where you meet like one of the pastors, which this was like a mega church. So there's several pastors. And I was so excited because I did all this stuff and I was like, yes, this is so great. I'm going to be a part of something. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to grow up. And so I'll never forget this. Like I walked into the office, so excited about this day. And they handed me this like big, stack of like things that I needed to fill out. So I was in the office. I'm like filling out like all these questions. Like, what was the day that you were born again? And I remember sitting there like, I didn't know a date. I didn't know a date. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to qualify? It was like this whole thing. And then there was like all these other questions. And my life, was unstable. Like I don't remember a lot of things like, because they were just all over the place. So So I had like all this stuff that I had to fill out. And I was like, oh my gosh. I remember I got into the office and the pastor put his hand out and I like put my hand out to hand him over, my whatever application or something. And I give it to him and he doesn't even walk around the desk. Like I'm thinking I'm going to get a hug, like from one of the pastors, which, it's all good. But anyway, it was like the long story short it was almost, I think 3 hours in this room. And it was what I felt and would describe this time as it was like interrogation.
Wow.
It felt like he was asking me all of these different past sins and it just felt like yuck in the air, yuck in the air, yuck in the air, yuck in the air. And I think, obviously now looking on this side back in, he was attempting to do deliverance. He was attempting to be prophetic. He was attempting, but it was pathetic and it was, definitely devastating. It wasn't deliverance. And, just saying like his ideas, like even from what I've just shared right now, I didn't share a lot of details. Like I have this great relationship with my dad. My dad is not totally like, healed yet and totally strong in the Lord or anything, but I have a relationship with my dad. But there's things that like people don't know, but they make up in their minds when I just say certain stories. And so, when you're trying to be prophetic, you need to hear the Lord. Like you don't come up with your own ideas and tell them what you think. And so these things weren't matching up. The only way I could describe it is like when you're trying to fit a puzzle piece in the wrong place.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And so I was this little sinner. Like, I was this little nobody who came from like nothing and just seeking after the Lord. And he's this, you know, well-known, very important pastor. And so everything he was saying, I was trying to fit the puzzle in because,
Right.
you know, he should be right. I'm definitely like, and it wasn't making sense, but I was still trying because I thought surely he's right and I'm wrong.
Right.
This is important because this is why, this is really, really important because what happened was I wasn't equipped in the word. I did not have like my knowledge on point. So I could never fight back. I had little scriptures inside, but then I wouldn't know the reference or whatever. And he would be like shooting out these things. And then I was just like hopeless. And I'm like the little vulnerable person.
Yeah.
So in the end story is that I got a stamp of rejection. I wasn't able to become a member of their church yet. I had to go through some more classes. This is for real. I'm not even kidding. And so I was like, okay, you know, and I remember I wept and I went home and I felt so rejected. I had a migraine. I was like, I just felt so horrible. Like what was wrong with me? And I really wanted to do whatever he said, like whatever I had to do, you know,
right.
And to have that rejection was painful. It was so painful. This is the problem for that situation was that I know Jesus. I may not have the word all girded up, but I knew him. So what did I do? I ran home and I ran right into the arms of Jesus. I remember I ran in my bed and I just was like, it was like I ran into his arms and I wept and I was like, and I cried out. I had the worst migraine because that was like such a horrible night. And I had the worst migraine and I said, Jesus, I said, why is he saying these things that don't sound right? Like they don't make sense. Like, you know, he's coming up with things about, and I said, what is this? What is he saying? Like, why is he saying this is who I am? And I heard the voice of the Lord and he said, because that's not who you are. And I had my Bible sitting on a bench and he said, I want you to pick up this Bible right now. And I was like, you know what a migraine feels like? You don't want to get up. But I was like, anything he said, because he's like my best friend, you know, and I was like, he goes, go get your Bible right now. And so I said, okay. And I went up and I remember grabbing it. I didn't even know how I was going to look at it. I had been crying all night long. And he's like, open it up. And I kid you not, I opened the Bible like this. And you know where I turned to?
What?
Can you guess?
What? Tell me.
I opened it up just like this with like migraine pain, red eyes, crying all night long, went like this, and I opened it right up to 1 Corinthians 13.
Wow.
And it said, you can speak. And this was what I was feeling. I was like, he is the big pastor. He prays in tongues. Like, he, you know, he knows all these things. Like, he's the leader. Like, he's the one. Like, and I'm the nothing. And he goes, you can have the tongues of angels, but if you don't have love, it means nothing. So you can have all the wisdom and knowledge, but it means you can give everything. You have the poor, but if you have no love. And I thought about it, and he was like, and he told me, he's like, that man didn't have love. He didn't have love to forgive him. So like right in that moment, I was like, I had to forgive that pastor. And then he was like, now, this is important for you. He's like, you are going to walk in my love, because the way that people will know your mind is by their love. That's how you will know, right? So right off the bat, like right when I moved to Nashville, that's what happened. And love glasses. Like, so he was like, you need to like, don't be impressed, because, you know, Nashville has like all the, you remember like there was like the, you remember the conferences they used to, I don't even know, I can't think right now.
Oh, the GMA?
Yeah, the GMA, like that, everything was there. Everybody's walking around like they're like, you know, famous. And like, so he was like, right away, he's like, you need to know like who's mine and who's not mine, because you need to see through my eyes. And he's like, if they don't have love, watch out. Like, watch how they are treating you, watch how they're treating others, watch, you know, my spirit is going to reveal this. But he said, but more importantly, you walk in my spirit and you walk in my love. So that was like, you know, right off the bat, I had to learn that. But let me tell you, after I opened that Bible, my book was like this, for the next couple years, I was like, what? Then that's when he set me into my church with my pastors, and I really grew up.
Now, Becca, real quick, because we are running out of time, but I want you to real quick. What words would you say to girls that are watching right now that were you? Give them some kind of hope right now, because I know you've been through it and talking about how God has pulled you through it. So what would you say to those that are watching right now, feeling the same way that you were feeling years ago?
Yeah. You know what? The Lord loves you so much. He's given you everything you need pertaining to life and godliness. He's already placed a crown on your head when he had his son die for you. And I just say, you know, if you struggle with worth, if you struggle with just self-worth and loving yourself and seeing yourself the way that God truly sees you, the greatest thing you could ever do is to just dive into his presence. Just ask him to be there with you. Just spend time with him. Do whatever you can before you spend time with anybody else, before you go to a pastor, before you go to anybody. You need to have your own relationship with God, because in these days, there's going to be all kinds of false people. So I would say, you know, make sure that you invest in your time with him and in time with the word. And it's going to change your life. It's going to change your mind, change your perspective, change your heart, change your spirit, and it'll give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And he will comfort you, and he'll be there for you, and he's the bestest friend you could ever have. And let me tell you, if you don't feel like you can hang with him here, then there's going to be trouble for you, because there's a whole eternity after this, and we're going to have to be with somebody after eternity. And let me tell you, I am so excited for eternity. I think about it every day. I think about how I can't wait to spend time with him. And so if you could just grasp how precious your like how much he just loves you, you will just be overwhelmed and you'll be filled with power. You'll be filled with power so that you can go forth and have authority over the lies of the enemy and over the things that are not true. You know, if you know what's true, you won't fall for what's a lie.
That's so good. That's so good, man, because that's like you're saying, there's so many young girls that are out there, man. Becca, thanks. Like, seriously, that's an incredible word. And I think there's a lot of people that need to hear it. A lot of young girls, especially, that are like confused. They don't, you know, what do I do? How do I fit in? There's just so many questions. And I think that's the best thing, is knowing who you are, looking at yourself the way he looks at you, you know? Now, I want to ask you real quick about, because something that you were doing for a while is you were doing this thing, which I think is great. And I don't know if you're still doing it. You haven't done it for a while, but I think it'd be something great to bring back, because people do need hope. You were doing scripture snacks where you would sing stuff and talk about stuff. Tell me a little bit about scripture snacks, and if you're still doing that, or if you plan on bringing that back, because I think you stopped doing that now for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's so many avenues of creativity in our life, and now that we have our daughters, and so, I mean, it's not that like I wanted to stop it. It was more of just like we had some other projects, but I love them and I'm inspired to do them. I think we have a lot out there already. We've always said we want to do some more, so we'll see. But
now I know you're a mom now of 3 girls, right? Because you had another little girl. Tell me about your household. What's your family life like, for those that don't know? Because I know you had 2 girls for a while, and then you had this third one come into the family. Tell me a little bit about what it's been like being a mom, and what this season of your life is like, what you're learning from them, and, you know, vice versa.
yeah, I mean, this message that you were saying, like with these young girls, my oldest is 13, so she just stepped into teenage, you know, and it's this constant conversation, and I feel like it's so hard. Like the struggle is really, really hard. But I absolutely love every single thing about being a mom. Like, it's like I love being a wife too, but I love being a mom. Like, it is just so precious to me. Actually, in this season, I feel like more than ever, like, this is my highest calling, like my highest ministry, my highest purpose. Like, every day I'm seeing it, I'm thinking, wow, I have these deep conversations with them. Like, you know, just even like what we started with, like coming up higher, how the Lord says, come up higher so you can really think the way that I think. I just had that conversation with my oldest, you know, that like eagles fly alone. Like, if you ever feel lonely, it's like because you were created to be an eagle, and eagles fly and they soar higher than the rest, and they go up there, and then they're leaders, and then they see things, they see better than the rest. So it's like, you know, there's just these conversations that are just so cool, and they're always going. And I think I learn a ton because I'm having to seek the Lord, like, more than ever, because I'm seeing like little attacks, you know, on their lives, and I'm going, whoa, heck no, like, come on back, you know, and I have to like find out how I can be the mom that they need, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. And I think the other thing is being an example to them every day because they watch what you do. You know,
Yeah.
they see like the situation that you just went through. You know, a lot of times the kids are watching. How's mom going to react towards that? And it's a teaching moment. Every moment in life is a teaching moment. Every different thing that we go through. So I'm sure it's been crazy. Tell me, how long have you been speaking about your husband? We're talking about him, by the way. For those that don't know, Jack is Beckah's husband. He is actually not only your husband, but he's your producer. He's done all of your records. Tell me about what it's like having, in a few minutes, because we're running out of time here, what it's like to have a relationship with your husband and work with him, also have a work relationship where you're producing and constantly together, traveling together. What is that like? What's that dynamic like?
Okay, so I'm going to be like, put it all out there. Like, this is for real. Like, I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
It is the greatest thing ever. Like, I believe with all my heart that that's what God designed it to be like. Absolutely. I know that I have a hard time like getting people to believe this when there's like a lot of other things going on in the world, but like for us, there's no doubt whatsoever God put us together, and we love every single day that we get to work together, that we travel. We have so much fun because whenever we travel, we always do like something extra just to get it in. And it makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense, like that we would do the same thing together. So for us, it is amazing. Like it's just so perfect.
By the way, I do want to happy anniversary. I seen you were just celebrating. You were up in my neck of the woods. You were in San Francisco, California, went out to dinner.
Yes.
Also, you were in and tell me what it's like. How many years are you celebrating now with Jack?
16 years.
15 years. Give him an applause, ladies and gentlemen. Right there, man. 15 years. Amazing. So, Beckah, man, 16 years. My bad. We'll give him another round of applause. 16. Now, man, that's crazy. What is the most that you've learned about your husband in these 16 years?
Oh, what did I learn? Oh my god.
In 2 minutes or less, because we got to get to the house arrest 10 right quick.
I can say I've learned from him how to be more patient and how to be more what does he say all the time? He's taught me that it's like 100, like, you know how you have a situation with people, he's always taught me, he's like, whenever you think something is going on where you're thinking too much, because I'm a woman, I don't know if it's a woman thing, he's like, 90% of the time, it's never about you. It's like, it's just, and when you learn to just never think ever about like yourself, and you just like think about others more, it's just like life is easier. Like you're just like, wonder are they okay? Like what's wrong with them? You know, like what's going on with them? I wonder if they need anything. I wonder what they're thinking, you know, instead of like thinking about and he's taught me that over the years, and it's just been like amazing I mean, he teaches me so many things, but he's one of the most patient people I've ever met, ever.
That's sweet, man. Now, Beck, as you know, tradition here on House Arrest, we got to get to the House Arrest 10. But before we do that, real quick, tell us in 1 minute or less projects that you got coming out, if you have a new project, and also where they can follow you on social media. Okay.
Well, we have a new single that's going to drop, I think, it's Rosh Hashanah. It's in September. We have a new single that's going to drop in September, and it's called Awake. You're hearing it first.
Right here. You're going to hear it on the
first.
JP Dog. And where can they follow you on social media?
Everything's Beckah Shae. So Beckah Shae.
Okay.
Instagram,
Spell Beckah Shae out for everybody that don't know how to spell that.
BeckahShae.
There you go. Well, Beckah, we're about to jump into the House Arrest 10. So here we go. Number one, it's a this or that. Who would you pick? Who's the better singer to you, being that you're an R&B person? I like to hit people with a tough one at the top. Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston?
Whitney.
Oh, that was quick. Okay. Number two, phone call or text?
Text.
Text. Okay. So you prefer text.
I don't know. These days I like phone calls.
Okay. I like phone calls more because I feel like you can hear people's expression and get the details. Number three, are you a beach girl or a lake girl?
Beach girl.
Beach. Okay. From Southern California. So I got you. My wifey was telling me you're a big coffee drinker. So I said, we got to ask her, iced coffee or hot coffee?
Hot coffee.
Hot coffee. Okay. Number five, Joyce Myers or Christine Kane?
Christine Kane.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, there you go. Number six, something that everybody's dealing with right now. I don't know if you're doing it or not, but homeschool or traditional?
Well, if that's with the choice, I would pick homeschool. But my girls go to a Christian school, so that's even cooler.
Okay, so there you go. Number 7, Rachel Ray or Paula Dean?
Oh my gosh, I probably should know more about those. I don't know.
Okay,
Paula Dean.
okay. They're both cooks. They're cooks. One is super sub. They're amazing cooks. Rachel Ray, you never heard of either one of them?
I have seen Rachel Ray's show, but I don't know enough about Paula Dean's shows.
Okay, so we'll go with Rachel Ray. Number 8, city girl or country girl?
I used to be a city girl and used to say I would never be a country girl, but now that I'm in the country, I am total country girl all the way. I want to farm one day, seriously.
All right. Number 9, NIV or Message Bible? 30 seconds.
I would probably pick NIV.
Okay.
But I like the message. I like the message too.
And number 10, if you could choose to be one woman in the Bible, which would it be? Would it be Sarah or Ruth?
Aww. I think I love Ruth.
Okay. Hey, man. Beckah, thank you so much, seriously, for being on with us. It has been an honor. You're an amazing woman, an amazing woman of God, and an amazing example to so many other women. So I love you, and on behalf of everyone here at House of Rest, thank you for being on. I know that people are going to be so blessed by this. We hope to have you back on again soon. So tell Jack we said hello, and we'll be praying for this whole entire situation that God just works everything out. So I love you, sis. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
So much.
All right, thanks for. Hey guys, stay tuned. DJ P Dog's in the mix right now with the after party. So peace out, Beckah. We love you, and we'll see you guys next time right here. Next week we'll be with Dayton right here on the House Arrest Show. Let's go.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's your man DJ P Dog in the mix right here on the House Arrest Show. And right now is the after party, and just like we promised, we got that brand new record by Beckah Shae. This joint is called Awake, and you're hearing it right here, right now, exclusively on the House Arrest After Party. Let's get it in. Exclusive Beckah Shae, House Arrest, DJ P Dog.
Oh, rise, can you feel the fire? Rising up higher, higher, higher. Oh, rise, darkness can't stand by, 'cause the light is getting brighter, brighter, brighter. And when we hear the trumpet sound and the four winds blow, we will be the ones found, looking up, ready to go. In the twinkling of an eye, we will be raised high, every heart beating in time with Adonai. Awake, sleeping giant, open your eyes, it's time to rise and shine. Yeah. Awake, sleeping giant, open your eyes, it's time. Dry bones come alive.
Keeping the party going, my man Andy Mineo.
What's up, y'all? It's Andy Mineo, and right now I'm kicking it with the homeboy DJ P Dog. Keep it locked right here.
Living in a dark world, how they gonna know if we don't put his glory on display and let it show? So let there be light.
Let there be light. What?
Let there be light.
What?
Let there be light.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
I was in the dark, like the basement. My heart used to love sin, then he changed it. Look what Grace did. Couldn't live without her, got no strength on my own. Yo, I'm living solar power, getting bright lit. This ain't no light switch, I can't turn it on and off. Lord, come ignite this. I wanna be that flame in the dark where no light is. While I'm in this frame, I show them who the Christ is. When they see my deeds, I'm just being me. I hope that they see in you every time they seeing me, treating others the same way that I would want them treating me. Yeah, we say it all the time, but that ain't done so easily. So Jesus, give me
Taking
your
y'all back
heart.
on this one.
Mine is deceitful, then give me your eyes. I wanna see people same way that you see them, 'cause you all that they need. It's like I'm Peter, though I'm falling, you still calling
Let's go,
me to
we
feed
living
them
in
in the
the
dark world. How they gonna know?
How they gonna know?
If we don't put his glory on
If we don't put his
display,
glory on
let it
display,
show. So
let there be light. Say it.
Let there be light.
Say it. Let there be light.
Let there be light. Let there be in the dark world. How they gonna know?
We gotta show them the light.
Glory on display and let it show. show. So let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. I took a trip.
T-Bone, what's up?
Jesus offers love and wants to wipe your tears away. I know this world got you feeling down, bound by the problems and troubles of life, full of strife, pain and misery. Looking for true peace, love, and happiness that you can find in drugs such as Hennessy. But come along with me if you want to hear about the one who heals the sick and make the blind see. The one who drew water, the one that multiply the loaves and the fishes, so the lady with the issue of blood to cure leprosy. Cause even when your friends ain't there and you be feeling like nobody care, God's still there, ready to cast all your burdens away. Let him in your heart this very day. And I pray that every lyric I spit will hit and penetrate to the very depths of your soul. And I'ma let the whole world know that he can make his sins white as snow. Now let me bust en español. Para mexicano, cubano, panameño, colombiano, argentino, chileno, nicoya, puertorriqueño. Lo que yo te enseño es lo que me enseñaron de pequeño with this instrumental. I'ma make you get sentimental. Cause I be known that you're feeling what I'm talking about. Make you wanna shout, shout, let it all out. Like tears for fees. I'm trying to reach the bees and the thugs. Players in the clubs, and my partner singing drugs. Junkie and slugs, looking for love in the messed up world that's cold like a freezer. That's why until the day I die, I'ma preach the word of God like the man of God they call Peter. That you might be going through a thing or two, but know that Jesus still loves you. So it's all good. Play and wipe your eyes, cause Jesus said that everything's gonna be alright. Now come on, then. Cause even when it seems like don't nobody really care.
Sing it, T-Bone.
Jesus is there and he hears your prayer. And he hears your prayer. Don't cry, heard the Lord reply. I wanna wipe the tears from your lonely eyes. It's gonna be alright tonight. Might be going through some things, but I know the joy comes in the morning time. And I pray to do this rhyme. I'm touching your mind, body and soul. Let him take control. And I know that if you just sing God, leave your violence in his hands and everything's gonna be alright.
My man T-Bone to my man Lecrae. Welcome to the after party, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure.
We got no regrets. Let them know.
Hey, Souls. Let them know I got no regrets.
And they say, you only live once, so live it up tonight. I hope we live twice, cause I can't wait to give up this life. Don't get me wrong, I love my fam and my experience. Been around the world and back. 7 wonders I done seen them. Number 8 is just us wondering what happens when we perish. And I don't want no regrets. I'ma tell the ones I cherish that I love. I'm thinking of them on this red eye flight to Paris. If I die before I wake, at my wake, please tell my parents that your son will positively wake in paradise. Life is like a paradise, so watch the ones you rolling with. Roll the clip of my life. You gon' see a bunch of empty bottles, broken hearts and blurry nights. Facebook likes and Twitter follows. I'm not living for today, cause tomorrow's looking pleasant and the future is a gift. Even though this is the present, yeah, I do believe in heaven, but my actions ain't the key. Them days remain locked if everything follow me.
So I know that when I come to the end of
Welcome to the after party, ladies and gentlemen. It's your man DJ P Dog in the mix. We got a smooth vibe tonight. Ken Jones, talk to him.
I call him G.O.D. and heaven they know me.
K-Joe.
Amen, it's K-Joe, can I please speak to Elohim? And he will answer me. Angels will prepare for me, and they won't let me fall. They know just how to handle me. Is there one greater than you? And the answer's no, Father. Got the world spinning on your finger like a globe trotter. I call him G.O.D. I call him B.I.G. And yes, I'm calling me W.E.S.O.M.E.
Let's go. I call him G.O.D. I call him G.O.D. Let's go.
He's the man upstairs who will be there no matter when or where.
I call him G.O.D.
My wife was pregnant, having my second mini-me. Went to the doctor to get a checkup on everything, and I was out of town, so wifey went alone. After the visit, then she called me crying on the phone. The doctor said no heartbeat, oh no devil, you're a lie. You can't have my baby, he will live and he won't die. I told him G.O.D. took care of everything. My baby's perfectly fine today, and I give him praise. Whatever you want, he's my star. I call him G.O.D. I call him G.O.D. I call him G.O.D. I call him G.O.D. Someone said he's the man upstairs who will be there no matter when or where. I call him G.O.D. I call him G.O.D.
My man Tadashi. Talk to him, T-Dot.
Yes, he's alive. Run the door till it like sunrise. Everybody who been driven and thinking that he's gone, yeah, he in for a big surprise. Voila, right there before their eyes. He'll be back, ain't cut no slack for the cats who try to hide. Lie, that's what they say, I drop. Can't sell out. Called up with they sell, but they will feel, yes, sir, they gon' be shot. Clear, they dead now. Can't live just on that bread now. I took over what he said now. I'm his pupil, yes, no red now. Peter preached it from the mountain and 3,000 all believed it. And he called me on the campus and I answered and received him from the witnesses that seen him. To the heathen, do not preach him. The proof is in the change. Unashamed, that's how we reach him. Hey, so I stand up. I will never stand down. Worship with my hands up, humbled by him, man down. Yes, sir, that is it. I will never call it quits. Pressing on. That's how I know I'm his and that he lives.
Shout out to Jay. My man Flame. We talking about our Savior. He's alive.
I tell him that he lives. 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 I tell him that he died. I tell him that he rose and I tell him he's alive. Oh, I tell him that he lives. I tell him that he lives. I tell him that he lives. I tell him that he lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is DJ P Dog in the mix. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us here on the after party. Today's show, we had Beckah Shae. So if you're just now joining us, hit that rewind button, man. Powerful, powerful interview with my man T-Bone and Beckah Shae. Listen, we're going to be back next week with another house arrest. Same time, same station. Don't go nowhere. Follow us, all right? Once again, my name is DJ P Dog in the mix. You can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at DJPDOGG, at DJ Dog. I'm going to holler at y'all later. One love. Peace.
House arrest with T-Bone.